as happened in classrooms across the country, my teacher brought a television into the classroom so that we could watch the launch live. And there's there's this moment as as the spacecraft is taking off, where it becomes clear that something's gone wrong, and then it just disintegrates. And in that moment, all of this excitement and positive anticipation takes this sudden, shocking turn into confusion, death, massive destruction.
Hi, I'm Shikhar.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And we're going to tell you about generational themes that we found within the interviews that we conducted. First one, the complexity of contemporary life leads to isolation among our people. Many social media platforms cause citizens to be detached from society around them. They lose the human aspect of face-to-face communication. In addition, this opens up a new level for bullying and discrimination.
One thing that, and this could be a very personal experience based upon how I grew up, I see a lot of isolation today for our children, for adults. From where I came from a very big society, meaning in the evening, about 50, 20, 30 children will play in our neighborhood. It was totally safe for us to play in our neighborhood. So the problems of today that you hear, they didn't exist. It was just simpler times. So we felt emotionally very secure from our parents, from our extended families, because there was no digital way to communicate. People kind of sat face to face more, and you just felt that sense of camaraderie. Now I think it can get very lonely for a lot of people if you don't make effort to reach out, meet with people. And I personally feel bad, like I would be all over to picking fruits from neighbors, getting yelled at and doing just fun stuff, simple fun stuff, where my mom necessarily didn't know where I was, but somebody or the other was watching. She'll get the news somehow that, hey, your kid was doing that. But I couldn't do the same for my kids, because today's society is not so safe. I don't know if it is our perception or the fear in us. So I think that can lead to a lot of isolation, and that's something I feel like is a real loss.
Definitely when I'm walking around and I lose my Wi-Fi on my phone and I can't browse. That's definitely a problem. No, jokes aside. Okay, never mind. Problem that my generation faces, I guess everyone's too honestly absorbed with their technology. They're always looking at their phones, while they're eating, sleeping, pooping, driving. Yeah, honestly, that's and I guess people are kind of detached from reality, and they're not really paying attention to what's going on around them. So that's a problem that I see every day.
Yeah, well, racism is a big thing to me. I'd like to see that get better, because that still exists. Maybe more so in the South than out here, but it still exists out here too.
Even though we have different events to bring different countries together, the US should still make extra efforts to understand each country's motives before passing judgment.
There are many friendly international competitions in place, but they are not always welcoming to every single country. It is everyone's job to understand why our enemies are our enemies instead of jumping too quickly to conclusions.
Well, the Olympics are this time for athletes from all of these different countries to come together to compete in a non-violent way, or sort of celebrating the best of humanity in an athletic sense. And so in that way, it's a competition, but it's not actually, it's not like war or something. It's sort of coming together to appreciate and compete in things that are common across countries. And so I think in that way it can be a powerful force toward finding those commonalities. Though it can also be affected pretty heavily by what's going on in the world. It doesn't too often, derail the Olympics, but it has occasionally. But when we can sort of put aside what else is happening, and I think there's value in that. So yeah, I think that's the value in the Olympics.
Personally, I think it's a subtle way of having like a peaceful war between the countries, because countries don't want to fight, because it's cost effective, or it's not cost. It's costly to fight in a war. But Olympics is a way for the countries to compete, but not like fight or anything. It's just they're showcasing sports and stuff, and everybody at one point or another likes sports or divulges themselves into like a sport, and so everyone can relate to that. So the Olympics, it kind of gives you like pride for your country, and you think, wow, we're so good at basketball, or we're so good at, what is America good at? Gymnastics? Oh, swimming. Oh yeah, America's so good at swimming. Like Michael Phelps and stuff. And so then, it's just a way for other countries to say, hey, we're good at this, so we can be better. We're better than you at this, or we're better than you at that. And it's a peaceful war.
I think Olympics are a powerful way to bring different nations together in somewhat of a non-threatening context. There is a competitive spirit and national pride, but at the same time there is also camaraderie across the nations. So other than Olympics, I don't see many forums where the nations come and unite with their national pride, but looking through the lens of international lens of globalization. Because whenever people talk about anything else, be it human rights, be it economic policies, be it trade policies, there's a little bit of contention. But I think this is a very friendly forum where people are trying to do their best, and there is the competition, but there is no animosity. So I think Olympic Games are huge in bringing nations together.
That's a little harder to paint that picture these days. We have terrorists, which are bad, but we don't necessarily know who's the good and the evil in all this, right? And obviously they do bad things, like 9/11 is a very bad thing, but why did they do 9/11? Why did that happen? Why are they bombing? Why are they doing all these terrorist acts, if you will? What have we done that could be considered a terrorist act, or a repressive act, or act of war? So there's a little give and take here, and there's certainly no veil of innocence. It's like, we're in the name of good, so we do these things. It's like, well, who's good? What's it good for? It's good for us, but not good for them. It's good for people that we think we're helping that maybe don't want our help, or that's not our business. At some point you have to draw a line. Their line, our line's a little blurred.
The problems, I personally think the U.S. should really study other countries' cultures, history, people, especially like Muslim countries' people. We have to understand what they think, what they say. We cannot just say, okay, they are enemy. We got to treat them like regular people, ordinary people. So try to minimize those the frictions, tension between the U.S. and the Muslim countries. Okay, so I think this is the best way to resolve the relationship.
Tragedy may bring people together, but there will still be controversial topics in which the people are divided.
Our country may come together in times of mourning and sadness, but it fails to accept and be united in the face of issues like same-sex marriage, race, and other political disputes.
Tragedy always forces people together. You know, when Martin Luther King was killed, it really brought the country together because of black, white, every race realized the wrongness of it. And I think, you know, through my whole life, that when I've seen major disasters and tragedies, 9/11, whatever, it brings everybody together for a little while. Yeah.
Most of the, political discussions, we don't necessarily have a common enemy, and so people are very, very divided as a result. And so there's nothing like the feeling of a bully or something to bring people together, you know, to feel like you have some common connection. So, you know, everyone in the country is so diverse that sometimes I think it can be hard for people to recognize what is common between them and, the guy down the street or the guy in the next state. People mostly focus on the differences until there actually is something that actively brings them together.
You know, like political issues like, I would say, taxes, wars, and the issue of like gender issues of like gay people, straight people, if you can marry, you know, like a guy and a guy. Yeah. That would definitely bring America together in the sense that they will discuss about the problem, but also it would also like break them. I mean, like pull America apart. Yeah, divided by these issues.
Gun control. I'm for my right to own a gun. You know, always have been. Growing up on a farm, you know, I hunted and all that at an early age. So I'm for that.
I just hate the political divide that there is now. I really hate the political divide that there seems to be. And, it doesn't matter necessarily that it's one political party versus another political party in office or not. It just seems way too divided and too mean-spirited, too ugly. Bothers me terrifically because it doesn't seem to improve. It just seems to get worse and worse and worse. And I don't know that there are answers for it.
You know, on a long enough timeline, I'm happy to see that progress marches on, and sometimes I'd like to see America stand up and be a leader and not have all these things won over millions of tiny little battles and state propositions and Supreme Court interventions and all of that stuff. I'd like to see our nation stand up and lead and be that sort of beacon of justice and equality that we say we are, that I think, America at its best really is, but too often falls short of.
I know Eisenhower was president in 50. Oh yeah, right. So you're right. It probably was him because Eisenhower was president in 56. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think that was the beginning of people starting to wake up to the government.
Right. Well, and getting this kind of, prove it to me.
Right.
Attitude. I mean, certainly when you think about all of the, like the actors and the writers and the so-called intellectuals who were blackballed.
Ruined them.
Yeah, ruined them.
Ruined a lot of people.
And
yeah.
again, that was strictly hearsay or somebody ratting out somebody.
Or they just plain wanted to get them out of the industry.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. So and then the next major thing was when Kennedy got
Oh
killed.
God, that was, yeah.
And then, you know,
conspiracies all over the place.
And still, I mean, when I went to Dallas and looked at that spot, and it's like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. Somebody, yeah. They took him out.
Yeah.
Aren't they gonna open up that paper? Aren't we getting close to being able to remember there was that sealed magic paper that's gonna explain everything?
Well, let's see. Wait, is it 50 years or 70 years before they
open it?
Open it. If it's 70.
Oh, it has to be because it's been 50 years, right?
Right.
60, oh no, 63. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 63.
Right.
So we're not gonna get to see it.
No. Well, I won't. You might.
I don't think so. It might even be 100 years.
That's true. That's true.
Government conspiracy.
Oh, I know. Yes, that really brought home conspiracy possibilities all over the place.
And then it never stopped. I mean, it went right up to, and I still look at the Twin Towers and don't buy that either.
Oh, that's something I hadn't even considered.
Yeah, well, the Twin Towers, the way the building went down, if you watch it, it looks like they exploded. There's explosions before.
Oh, before the plane hit?
Before the building went down. Looks like they were from the inside out. And that's always been a conspiracy theory.
Boy, I missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm.
Wow.
And again, it doesn't surprise. I mean, you know, we blindly walk through and believe what our government says, but you know, they wanted to go in. They wanted to get.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we
wouldn't that be a perfect way to do it too?
Of course, just like the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Just like the sinking of the Lusitania.
Right. I can't wait till you finish with that book so I can read it. Are you done?
Yes.
Are you going to let me read it? Or have you got it
from
somebody else?
It's on my Kindle.
Oh, that's right. Darn it.
Yeah. But they
I'm
knew.
to break down and just
they knew. I mean, up to that point, they were escorting those cruise ships. And they knew that Lusitania had no escort. And they let it go. And they let all those people die, just so the Americans would go in. And
I have read that Roosevelt tried in several ways to get Congress to agree to, declare war, get into war because he wanted to prop up Churchill so bad.
Right.
Which certainly wouldn't have been a horrible thing to do, but it took Pearl Harbor before the Congress would finally agree to it.
Right, and again, they just let a few go for the good of the for the good of the
yeah. Well, for the cause.
Yeah.
God, I didn't ever hear that one about the Twin Towers though, or about.
Oh yeah.
9/11.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing on it. That was very disturbing.
Where did you see that? What was it? Do you know what it was?
I don't know, but if I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, one of the things is the hole that they made at the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How does a plane with wings make a hole? Where'd the wings go? magic. They're
Nothing.
folding. They fold it in, but it's a hole
In the side.
in the side.
Good
Where's the
question.
wing? Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
even if the wings didn't make a whole thing, I mean, it had to make some mark. You would think.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't hear that one either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow.
But yeah.
Well, I can't believe all the speculation about the possibilities of Kennedy's shootings because, you know, they've gone over every blade of grass, every piece of paper on the ground.
Well, they're not right. Everything. It's all those people that were right there that got off that were right there by the train.
Exactly.
They disappeared. They never found them. The guy with the camera, with the movie camera, they never
Right.
found him.
Right. Yeah, the only film they've got is Zapruder's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you stand at that fence that they say the second shooter was at, it's a perfect shot.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Boy, that must have been disturbing. You went
It is a very disturbing. Yeah, it's not a. It's I don't
not
ever
a,
need
not a
to go
fun
there.
place.
No, it's not. It's so bizarre. I
And
mean, why he
depressing.
would even take that route, I don't get it. But yeah.
Well, wasn't it supposed to be a shortcut or something to wherever it was they were on their way to? But
Yeah, how
why-
convenient.
Yeah, how convenient.
Make a total twist.
Mm-hmm.
Bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the shooter got shot, and then
Yeah.
how convenient was that?
Yeah, terribly.
But I think there'll always be some kind of terrorists everywhere.
Right.
And truly, we only know what they want us to know.
Sure, and in the format that
Right.
they want us to know.
Exactly. Feeding the info. Just like the guys in World War II that were in Britain and saw they knew listening in and decoding that
Right.
whole imitation game
Right.
thing.
Right,
But they had to let those people go.
Right.
They couldn't let them.
right. Oh, God, that was really enlightening. I
Yeah.
had no clue about that one.
They had
either.
another one during World War I. There was they called it Room 40.
Oh.
And they intercepted communications, and same thing. They decoded them exactly like that. And they had to let some of the ships go. It was because the submarines were new. It was something new and exciting.
Right.
In the
But
battle.
untested, so to speak, yeah.
Because everything used to be above the water up to
Right.
that point. But
Right.
if they warned the boats, then the Germans would know that they were intercepting things, so they had to let them go.
I didn't know that one either.
Same thing. It was all about the information.
Yeah.
So again, so they knew that submarine was going to release the Titanic. They just let it go.
Yeah. I'm really anxious to read that.
It's no, you're not.
It's really
It
grim.
gets very grim. Yeah, very grim. But that's what it's all about, right? There's all about that.
Boy, gives you real hope that, I mean, not real hope, but real desire to have somebody like the Avengers floating around.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's right. I mean, when I was talking about the events when I was growing up, we totally missed the whole Vietnam War. Totally forgot about it. How about
Oh.
that? When that was totally down our throats every single day.
That's true.
First war on TV.
That's true.
We got to watch it up close and personal every night.
Yeah, see, except I was deep at work at that point and not really, and raising a kid, and I wasn't really focused on any of that, I have to confess. I mean, I knew it was
No.
happening.
It-
Yeah,
you-
Vietnam.
You didn't have Jeff.
I didn't have Jeff then.
No.
No, that's right. That's
It
right.
was way before Jeff came around.
That's why, yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What am
Wait
I
a minute
thinking?
now. He's not that old.
No, apparently I am.
Yeah.
Why was I not ever?
Well, see, we were involved because my brother was there, so we watched it.
Of course, you were very concerned.
It was awful.
Yeah, that wasn't a nice, neat, tidy war.
No, we couldn't call him on the phone, that's for sure. Couldn't talk to him, couldn't have any communication, didn't know whether he was where he was or what he
In the middle of
was.
a rice paddy or what?
Very disturbing. Back in the days of the reel-to-reel tape recorders. You remember those?
Yes.
Maybe a little microphone.
Yes.
So we would talk on the mic, talk to my brother. Hey Tom, how you doing? And then we would take the little reel and we would pack it up and we would mail it to Vietnam. And he had a recorder there.
No way.
Oh yes. And he would play it.
I love it.
And he would hear his family.
Aw.
Because that was the only way, there was the only communication.
Right.
And then he would take that same tape and flip it. And he would record.
Right.
And then he would pack it up and he would send it back to us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really funny. My mom was so, with her 8 sisters, she would send food.
Right.
Because they don't have any, the American soldiers have no food.
Exactly.
Especially Italian food.
Especially.
And having 8 sisters, they would pack up these huge boxes of cookies. And we didn't have packing, the packing popcorn.
Right.
And it was too heavy to use newspaper. So they used popcorn. Real popcorn. So my mom would pack these containers of cookies in popcorn, wrap it up, and we got a letter from my brother, and it was all of the boys in his barracks.
Right.
Saying, "Dear Mrs. Cosentino, thank you for the cookies. Next time maybe send enough for Tom." One time they opened it up and they thought that my mother had sent a box of popcorn.
Until I realized there were cookies in there. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Very brilliant.
Yeah.
Although, one time I do remember ordering something from a catalog and it arrived. And
In
there was-
popcorn?
And there was, dead popcorn in there. I mean, it was, really
Yeah.
stale old
Right,
popcorn,
of
but it was
course.
popcorn, real popcorn.
So maybe that's where they came up with the idea. They call them the styrofoam popcorn.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I bet you.
yeah,
I bet you're right.
it's funny.